Hello, it's John Lord here on the 6th of November, and we're in a high pressure, and typical Ireland high pressure, you get good dry weather, but it's not much good to you in November. And we won't talk about politics because even though 6th of November something very momentous happened, but we won't talk about politics. This is about plants. I'll only talk about politics if plants start talking about politics, and plants don't talk. So no we start here. Isn't it beautiful the way this salvia is fading to a different colour? That's its strong colour. That's royal Bumble. It's one of the microphylla, one of the small leaf salvias from Texas, northern Mexico. That's been flowering more or less since July, and we're into November. Now, you give it a good hard cut back next spring. Spring's the time to cut it back. You leave it like this over the winter. What they like is dry as possible conditions. We'll move along. We have to do a job on this. It's sunk really low, and everything has to come out, and we'll have to put in soil and sand and bring it back up. It just doesn't look right. This is the really good prostrate rosemary, and it's particularly good when it's hanging over a wall. It sort of goes down and the flowers try to come up. It's really good. We have its second flowering. Oh, it's really good. The Geum, totally tangerine, and look, it's just ready. It'll just keep going until until we get a hard frost. So this high pressure is to last for a bit. Look at the Welsh poppy. It's going to flower again. That's the Miscanthus cantabrigiense. And look at, we have, you get these in the posh restaurants, these Nasturtiums. That's just, don't know where that came from. But it's, other than that, it's sort of fading away. We are going to lift that. That was a peony, and it was very poor the last few years, so we're going to lift that. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow, and we're not actually going to do any gardening except a little tiny bit. This, I think it's white beauty. I was never particularly mad on white flowers, but this flowered continuously nearly from the end of May, and we cut it back and it flowered again, we cut it back, and look, that's one is finished. That flower is finished, but there's a new one here. So that'll keep going once again until the hard frost, until the heavy frost. What we're going to do is we're going to take a piece out. Try here, see what happens. Just keep hitting the same spot. That's it, just keep hitting the same spot. Steel is harder than earth. Hell. There we go. And you would hardly even know that was moved. Oh, we're gonna bring it up here. Plonk it here. That's London Pride. So it's going to go in here. Going to take out the London Pride, the Saxifraga, and we'll break it up and pot it. That's one of the best ground cover plants you can get. It's so well behaved, always flowers, never gives any trouble, very easy to control. So that's going to go in there, I think, because the London Pride is getting, maybe put it here. and the Lunipride can go around it. So we won't, that's about 10 minutes work. That's going to come out. That's self-seeded, the Verbena bonariensis. Bit awkward looking, but we left it. And they don't live that long. They self-seed around. There it is again. So we put a few bits back. They were not particularly good. That's better. Just in there. You're allowed to change your mind. It's a man's prerogative to change his mind. Oh, look. It never stopped flowering. That was put in late, that chocolate plant. It just never stopped. And we just made an amazing contrast with this Achillea and the Scabiosa. Now, if you had time, you could do a little bit of deadheading. That will flower. I think it's Mariposa blue, I think. A little bit of work, we haven't time, but that will flower right up till the very hard frost, right into November. The Erodium is just continuing to flower. They have to be dead-headed though, this particular Erodium, but it flowers for the entire season if it's dead-headed. Anyway, that's gone there. That's a Fennel plant. That's a volunteer. What Fennel, bronze Fennel is particularly good, and it's a good architectural plant, very good in gravel. And what it likes is open situation. Wind, by looking at that, you can see the wind can blow right through it. I've seen it growing on seashores. Wind blowing through it, it won't fall over. That's what it's designed for. It's not designed for being overshadowed with trees. Fully open, dry situation. Really good. And let me see what else. Yes. That's Geranium, just finished flowering. That's cantabrigiense St Ola. The cantabrigiense geraniums, well, it's flowering now, but the flowers in the spring, late spring, and they are evergreen, and they will grow in shade, light to semi-heavy shade, and because they're evergreen, very good front of border plant. Never there's any trouble. Now, you could maybe take it back, but I don't know. I like that effect. That needs to be cut back. And that's our Dahlia. Finished flowering. That's Dahlia merkii. It's hard to get. That Dahlia came through the bad frost of 2010, so it's completely hardy in Ireland. Now, sorry about that. We put that back. No, we won't put that back. We put something else in there. See, here we have the garden centre. We've lots of stuff. What about this? No, I'll get too big. Here. Oh, I know what. I just pulled this out when just half an hour ago. I pulled this out. This ash. They say the ash is in trouble, but a lot of the ash is not getting the dye back, so it's not going to. It will eventually come back. So I pulled this ash tree up. It's still a nuisance. We're still getting ash all the time. Part of me wanted this dieback will sort out the ash, but not really. Still lovely having ash. We'll end up with resistant strains coming in, but amongst the ash we have this Polemonium, Jacob's ladder, and we just put Jacob's ladder in there. That's it. Now that's the lazy man's way. We're not going to do any more work, but I like carrying the spade. I worked in a job years ago, and I was always told the foreman is a bit on the tough side. Always have an implement in your hand, and then you're okay. Always walk with an implement. Like in the office, you have the clipboard. And look busy. If you look in there, we see the two Mahonias. Mahonia is a good evergreen shrub, a good structural shrub, and they're particularly good in a shady place. That, I think that's Charity. There's one called, there's a few similar ones, but Charity's a very good one. And there's some more modern ones, there's Soft Caress, which doesn't have any spines, but that is very slow growing. Here's a few little stragglers on our fuchsia, but I want to just mention this rose. The 6th of November, a little bit of deadheading. I watched a video a while ago on pruning roses, and it was all about putting the cut this way and doing the cut that way and doing the other thing. And you know, I don't think there's enough hours in the day for that. I remember years ago a chap, and he used to cut his roses. He was from the west of Ireland, and he used to cut. He had a sickle. He was able to use a sickle. West of Ireland, they use it for cutting hay or straw, and he used to cut his roses with the sickle, and they're perfect. Now that's the last remnants. That's Sanguisorba, and that one is Lilac Squirrel. See, it's finished. I found it's better than Pink Brush's Lilac Squirrel. That's the one to go for. A little bit of deadheading here. If you know, well, would have been no harm, but as I say, I didn't have the time. But that's Simply Peach. The best pampas. So what I'm going to do with this pampas next year, gapping it here. I'm going to go in and remove that entire half and put it out the front, because I know that's a good one. Because sometimes we get pumila and it's not pumila. I don't think it's pumila. And what's done very well is that there. That's the tree lupin. And next year we'll have lots of flower. We put that there because we didn't think it would grow, but that's Royal Bumble. That can be moved and put somewhere else. Oh, look at this here. That's the cornflower. Now we've a lot of fungi or funguses, whatever you want to call them, coming up. No harm. The reason for that was because we did work here, around here, and there's a lot of sort of organic matter they can feed on. But isn't that beautiful? And what they need is plenty of really sunny position, plenty of sun. This here has to be planted. We're going to take these Bergenias and put them here, because Bergenias love a very dry situation, which the pines suck all the water out, so it's dry. We might extend that really good. My Tropicolescens. Now here we have we have the Erodium. This is very good, not Erodium, Erigeron. And it has to be, this is a very good Erigeron. I can't remember the name, but it has to be bone dry. If it is not bone dry, it grows too strongly and it flops and it looks raggy and terrible. If it's in a really dry situation, it's really good. And look at this, these are the Euphorbia wolfenii varieties of some sort. Once again, bone dry situation. And look at this. Didn't even know this was here. Few berries on it. Now it's a bit under stress here. That's a butcher's broom. And it's actually related to asparagus. Look at that. It's flowering now. Mauricio, which never flowers at this time, and the reason why is we've had a very dry 6 weeks, 8 weeks, August, July, very dry, and hunkered down a bit, and it's making a bit of a recovery with the rain the last few weeks and giving a few late flowers. I've never seen that before. Isn't that lovely? Cotinus Grace going up, but it's a great combination between the leaves that are gone into autumn colour and the leaves that haven't. It's a really lovely combination. That's Deamii, I think. Well, I'm not certain which one it is. I planted two different ones by mistake, so I'm going to lift that one, split that one in two, and put that one there. But that's a really good variety, nice tight variety. I don't know what it is, unfortunately. After that very windy weather, very little that we had a very stormy night, and this stayed up, so I'm glad I persevered. It was very rocky last year because it was too young and fresh, but now it's tightening up. Sunningdale Silver, really good. And no, we're not. Kids love these. Now look at that, the extra, the late, very late flowering, and sometimes it doesn't make it. That's Cosmopolitan. Miscanthus, isn't it good? And we cut this back earlier on. Penstemon Evelyn, and that will continue to flower until the weather gets too cold. That rose was just okay, and it was, I put that rose down because it said on the blurb that it was immune to black spot, and it's not. You know, we're thinking that's going to come out that because it was very poor. And that's one of the endless summer hydrangeas, which I've had mixed results with them. And I think in Ireland they need to be in a sunny position. They need extra, because they flower, they repeat flowering, they just don't flower once. But I think you need extra heat, so you don't put it in the shade like I normally put these type of hydrangeas. So this is sunny spot. I'm thinking of putting that there just as an experiment. See, does it live up to its hype? But I get very good reports about it. But the proof of the pudding's in the eating, so you have to find out. It has to work for you. So we see. These like acidic conditions, I believe, the Lirio, which is called a turf lily. Probably no harm going through it like that. You see them a lot in parts of England and parts of America. They're used a lot as ground cover. Very good in the right situation. Like a grass with flowers. Of course, it's not a grass. Here we have Verbena Chaxii, and I've been deadheading. This is the first year I've deadheaded early because it was going everywhere. It's an amazing, really good Verbena, but you have to watch it. Now we have a bit of trouble here. Yeah, that was the wind about maybe 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. And the thing about these very strong winds, they're kind of like nature's pruner, because they go through the trees really strongly and they break a lot of damaged branches and old branches, and they open up the trees. So it's very important. They're actually very good for the trees. That's so the tree doesn't blow down. But they're very good for the trees and for nature in general, for just moving things along. It's like you don't have to pruning without having to pay a gardener. So, we're nearly finished. It's only a short video. I'm very tempted. This Molinia, that's just a self-seeder. I'm very tempted to plant it in the gravel because I just like it. Everything about it. I'm very tempted. I don't know. I've never seen the Hypericum hit coat flower so late. And look, flower buds still on it. That's quite amazing. And that was given a good cut back this year. And let's, oh look at Buck Beauty. That's beautiful. Oh, didn't mean that. Oh, and has a bit of scent. Needs a little bit of work. Now it's funny, I was reading an old gardening book. I love reading old gardening books, written in the early 1970, and it was talking about black spot on roses, and it said, well, if you live in the city, you don't have to worry about the black spot in your roses, because the air in the city keeps away the black spot. So I was thinking of asking the government, could they bring back the air quality the way it was in 1970, you know, get everyone back burning the coal and slack again and whatever. I have a feeling that wouldn't work, but that's funny. The clean air has a lot of good outcomes, but not for roses. But, oh yeah, this needs to be cut hard back, very hard back. And that bud leaf was the same size. Put that one hard back. You see the difference? Now we've two more things to do. I had a list and I lost it. Oh, look at that. Isn't that great? We might even get what variety it is. No, it's gone. I don't know what variety is, but isn't it lovely? Oh, this here tiny pampas. It was, for the first 2 years, it was very poor, and then this year it's extraordinary. Really, really good. Just enough above the foliage. I thought it was a bit dumpy the last 2 years, and I was hemming and hawing about getting rid of it. It must have heard me and upped its game. It's a tiny pampas, and every second year I cut it to the ground. Oh yes, finish off. By the way, that's Aruncus dioecious. That's what that is. I think it was called Gulliver or Napoleon, some name like that. Here. Oh look, that's the autumn colour from the tree that's not a sycamore, the liquid amber. It's not brilliant in Ireland. It likes a stronger summer. When I was in Surrey for a while in the younger days, and it was much better in Surrey because the very dry sandy soil and much more heat, and makes it a much bigger tree, but it has very good autumn colour. We'll finish off here. I dug that hole to plant something, and I forgot what I was going to plant. We're revamping this. We have that's golden, and I put these I put this Persicarius red dragon to counteract the two yellows, to try and give it a bit of contrast. And look at this here. If you see something like that, just follow it down where it started. That's got no chlorophyll, so that's going to die. So we'll follow them all down. That's it. That's an unusual Cuba. But that's that. And a few other things to finish. That's a sucker. That's the foxglove tree. And that's a sucker from that. Now, I won't do it now, but I'm cutting that back to here. and it will come back with leaves this size. And this, look, we finish off here. Look at the trunk, the cut trunk there. That was how hard it was cut back, and it reacted really well. So that's going to be cut hard back. I wouldn't have thought of doing that if we hadn't done this video. So the videos actually do have a purpose, and we'll just lean against this lovely eucalyptus tree, the snow gum.